Hey, how's it going, everybody? Today I'm gonna make a quick video for hashtag content with my top 10 favorite civs on Arabia, Arena, Nomad, and most importantly, this thing that I play the most, free-for-alls. Free-for-all, including mainly 8-player Diplo with Regicide. So, like, Regicide meaning you have a king, and if you lose your king, you lose the game. So things like heavy cav archer, bracer, Parthian tactics, stuff like that's going to be really important. Um, but also, obviously, in free for all, having really good trash and really good siege also important. But first, we'll go through Arabia. Number one, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, of course, is going to be Ethiopians. Now, Ethiopians, there's a reason why, for me personally, they're number one. Going through their tech tree, I'm mainly an archer player, but obviously, I mean, in order to be decent at this game, you gotta be able to play cav as well, and infantry. So, archers firing 18% faster is the most important thing, in my opinion. Also, them receiving extra food and gold, pike and upgrade, all these things are really important. Because you can micro down +2 knights with crossbows, as long as you have ballistics. But yeah, I won't spend too much time on this, but I did want to explain why, in my opinion, just they're so strong. You can get crossbows with sometimes thumb ring, most importantly ballistics. All the upgrades make it forward, siege workshop, monks, whatever, and you can kill your opponent really easily, or force up a castle or whatever. But we're gonna go pretty much a little bit faster from here on out. Number two, Franks. Enough said. Just really good eco, really easy to play. And then Mayans. Mayans, similar to Ethiopians, only instead of 18% faster firing archers, it's more of the archers costing less gold. Access to Eagle Warrior is massive because eagles are really powerful. And also in the late game, which usually in Arabia, the games are decided in like mid to late feudal or castle age, but if you get to imperial age, those eagles are insane. Mongols, very versatile civ. You'll see this civ on a lot of these multiple top 10s. Mongols number 5. They can do archers, they can do scouts, they can do made an arm into archer, they can do fast castle, they can just do anything. And the hunting bonus definitely makes it you able to get up to feudal extremely quickly, which in my opinion is one of the most important things in 1v1 Arabia. Then Vikings. So Vikings is a little weird because we'll go back to the tech tree here. They did lose Thumb Ring, which was really big because their most powerful timing was, since they get wheelbarrow handcart for free, you can get to Imperial Age very quickly, and you can get Arbalest and Trebs, and that Arbalest timing is really good. Without Thumb Ring, they can get surrounded by +2 knights and lose, but if you look at AoE 2 stats, if you look at everything, they're still a really good civ. They have the made an armed archer timing. They still get wheelbarrow and handcart. Their infantry still has more HP. And they can still go scouts, light cav, knights, because they have the wheelbarrow. And then also, of course, their berserks. Very powerful. They are a little like one-dimensional, but not, in my opinion, as one-dimensional as, like, I was about to say Franks, but Franks can get their unique unit, but they're actually really solid. And when I looked at when I looked at AOA2 stats, it really surprised me that they're one of the top 5 civs overall on Arabia. Just made me think how much I enjoy playing them. And number 7, is going to be Saracens. So Saracens have been significantly buffed, and I'm not going to go too much into it. I'll explain it more in other things, why they're so powerful. But they are just really good at not only putting on aggression, but from my experience, they're really good at holding aggression. Because let's say you get pushed off of your wood line, let's say you get pushed off of gold, you can use your market to get out of a very sticky situation. Koreans, as I said, I'm mostly an Archer Civ player, so you can honestly switch out Koreans with something like Lithuanians or Persians here, depending on your playstyle. But for me, the free Archer armor is huge. The line of sight with villagers is huge. They just have a lot of really, really nice bonuses that a lot of people don't think of with Arabia, but I personally love. Aztecs, a lot of people put this much higher, but Aztecs, I would just rather pick Mayans, honestly, but they're still, compared to Mayans, a much more well-rounded civ. They have better siege, they have better infantry, and of course their eco is a lot better, so that's why I put them this high. And of course the relic bonus, they're just a very, very good civ. Portuguese, another well-rounded civ. The gold, everything costing 20% less gold is really nice. The reason why they're even on this list is the recent bonus to where their berries give them wood is really good, so they have a really nice scout timing with that. I still go 3 on wood, but some people go 2 on wood, and it gets you an extra villager on hunt, which gets you up just a little bit more fast. And then Magyars. People think of Magyars as like a scout rushing civ, but I catch people off a lot of times just going archers with them. Of course, going scouts, whenever I have a really wide open map, I'll go archers. And then whenever I have a really close map, I'll go Magyars. I'll go scouts. Because scouts, you want to be full walled as soon as possible. I think that's it. Oh, I put Vietnamese. Yeah, another good archer civ. Okay. Now, next up is Arena. A map that I play a lot more than Arabia. So, Arena. What is my number 1 Arena civ? Teutons. The reason why I picked Teutons is because they can do everything. Number 1, of course, monks are key on Arena at the mid elo, and probably at the high, or of course at the high elo as well. But I'd consider myself like a 1400 Arena player, so just having that, your units being harder to convert is huge. The cheaper farms is huge. Of course, their tech tree, you can do so many things. Their siege line is amazing. They're so good. Honestly, my number 2 civ, I would say, you can argue Turks is better than Teutons. I would say the main reason why you would say Turks is better than Teutons is the fact they get Light Cav and Hussar for free. Because when you're fighting for relics, that's huge. But of course, you can put one over the other. I think most people would put Turks over Teutons, but if I had to pick, like in a best of 3, best of 5 situation, I would pick Teutons myself. Poles, number 3. All 3 of these civs, if you would make a tier list, they would be S tier in my opinion. Poles, you can just do so much. You can do a tower rush, full on tower rush. You can do a tower rush where you make 3 towers, make your opponent freak out, and then just macro behind it with your full works. They can do archers, they can do knights, they have decent monks. Not as good as Teutons though. And then Bohemians, number 5. Why did I put under Bohemians? Portuguese. Bohemians are just really, really strong. They're Hoofnitsa. But honestly, I would put Portuguese... I thought I'd put Burgundians instead of Bohemians here. But Bohemians are still very, very strong. And of course, their unique unit is quite strong as well. Hoofnitsa are overpowered. So, still very strong. Portuguese, another really good civ, really good unique unit, really good monks. Of course, everything costing 20% less gold. Like I said, on Arabia, very strong. Portuguese, I think, made... if you average them out, they probably have the highest of all these civs on this list, actually. Because they just have so many things that are strong about them. The only knock with Portuguese... Let's check out something real quick. I would say they're trash, but I don't even really know, because I always go gold units with Portuguese. I knew they get Halberdier, but what is it? Okay, they don't get Hussar. But they get fully upgraded. And they get Elite Skirm fully upgraded. So yeah, Portuguese can just literally do everything. Anyways, number 6 on the list is going to be Bengalis. Oh, this civ has been growing on me significantly every single time I play them. So their monks are insane because they get the pierce armor and the melee armor. Their trash is horrible, but if you can monk rush, you probably win. But even if you don't win and you just get ahead, you can just boom into elephant archers, and then the elephant archers essentially kill anything unless you're against like Teutons with like siege onagers. So it's like the only thing that can kill their elephant archers. They're so strong. Love the Bengalis on Arena. Then Italians, one of my favorite civs. Yet again, common theme with all these civs is they have amazing monks. But of course, the cheaper uptimes are really nice. I was about to say really good trash. They don't get Halb, but they don't need Halb because they have Genbos, but they get Hussar fully upgraded. And they're very good defensively, of course, with Bombard Cannon, Bombard Tower, all that good jazz. Love the Italians. Britain's number 9, don't even have to explain, very good defensively, just a really good civ on Arena. There's the Burgundians, talked about them earlier, amazing boom. I mean, you could just win with their boom alone. Then Lithuanians, Aztecs, Saracens, and Spanish. Saracens, in my opinion, might be climbing up this list. Aztecs, I put them a little bit lower. They could just win alone with their monk rush as well. But the only knock about Aztecs is they can't really do much else. Like, sure, they could do Arbalest. Do they get Bombard Cannon? Let me check. They don't get Bombard Cannon. So, yeah, they don't get Bombard Cannon. They don't get Halb. But they could do pretty much everything else. Saracens, very well-rounded Spanish. All these civs, as you can tell, have amazing monks. And that's the biggest thing on Arena. Honestly, the main thing about this list is going to be, I'm taking a little bit too long here, is the FFA. So what I'm going to do is just reveal my Nomad list right here. Nomad I also love very much, and this is my list for Nomad. Spanish, obviously. Persians, obviously. Italians, in my opinion, is because of how strong Spanish is. Only knock about Italians is, of course, their water's amazing, but they're a little slow. So they do counter the Conquistadors with their Genbos, but Conquistadors are a lot faster than Genbos. So you definitely gotta make your walls properly, and you really gotta, if not walling well, you need to make your castles in really good areas, and you need to have watchtowers all over the place. Or not watchtowers, outposts all over the place. And then a lot of these are self-explanatory, like Persians, Malians, and Lithuanians is because you start with extra resources, and that's huge on Nomad. But the Vietnamese, in my opinion, are one of the most underrated civilizations on Nomad. It's all about in 1v1 is castle dropping. And knowing where your opponent's castle is, starting TC is huge. And not only that, they have a really good eco with everything costing no wood, which guess what? Wood is very important in the early game at Nomad because you got to build your fish, you got to build your fire ships or galleys, and it just rounds out their eco really, really well. And another thing about Nomad is you need to have a good unique unit. Besides Persians, Spanish, Italians, Malians, Vietnamese, Lithuanians, Koreans, Portuguese, all these top civs have really, really good unique units because it's all about castle dropping. And Vietnamese arguably have probably the second or third best unique unit in this entire list, in Castle Age at least. Saracens, Mamluks are a lot more powerful when you get all the upgrades on them. Koreans, mostly because tower rushing is pretty big. Portuguese, just because they have good eco. They have good ships. Same with Dravidians. The plus 200 wood every time you age up is massive. In my opinion on Nomad, it's all about converting your wood to food as quickly as possible so you can make it up to the next age. And Dravidians are really good at that, along with Saracens with their market, of course, and good unique unit. And Bengalis, that's just, I really like Bengalis on Nomad because, sure, there's a lot of things you can say about them, but the thing that a lot of people don't think of is their ship's healing, actually, is really, really big. You go galleys with Bengalis, and then you just micro stuff down, and if you start losing a fight, you just run away, and they slowly heal, and then you just mass back up, and that can be really, really good. And it was time for what everybody's here for, in my opinion, maybe not, but free-for-all. And free-for-all, I've actually, not only myself, but I've been asking other people who do a lot of free-for-alls what they think about these civs. And I've kept that in consideration. My number one free-for-all civ is the Mongols. Mongols are just so powerful. So there's a couple things about free-for-all is it's usually you don't want to be the first to attack because you make enemies and you hurt somebody, they want to hurt you back. So usually in free-for-all it's a little bit more relaxed. You get to get a full boom. Sometimes you can trade depending on if it's Diplo or not, and even not Diplo, sometimes you can trade. And fully boomed Mongols with a lot of gold is just the best civ, in my opinion. Mangadai, Hussar, Drill Siege, enough said, right? It's just, it's so good. Mongols, in my opinion, it's just, well, no, I think some Spanish on Nomad's probably the easiest, but besides that, Mongols on free-for-all. Number 2 is Portuguese, though. Of course, the Victoria is going to be pretty big, but not only that, as I said before, your units cost 20% less gold. And another huge thing in free-for-all is you need good trash and you need good siege. Portuguese, which we just found out, has good trash and really, really good siege. Bombard towers are really nice with bombard cannons, and you can really, really have a nice base surrounded by bombard cannons, bombard towers, fortified walls, and win with a wonder with Portuguese and Victoria. Number 3 is Teutons, because you'll see a common theme here, like with Arena, is good monks. On free-for-all, it's good siege. So Teuton Siege is phenomenal. Their unique unit doesn't really shine on Arabia. Sometimes can shine on Arena, but it really shines in free-for-all. You can get a lot of damage done with the Teutonic Knights. And, they get that melee armor, so they could just, they can go Paladin, I'm pretty sure. Paladin, yes. And, hand cannons, so many positive things about this civ. Only knock is they're missing bracer, but and architecture is kind of big as well, and treadmill crane as well. So kind of funny enough is treadmill crane is a really important upgrade in free for all because you make your wonder so much faster. So that's actually pretty. I didn't even think about that, but that kind of sucks for Teutons. They don't get treadmill crane. But besides that, such an amazing civ. Mostly the siege, but also, of course, very powerful units. Next is Celts. Yet again, good siege. But also the Woad Raider is very, very, very strong. Because sometimes, if you're against Bohemians or Portuguese, or a civ like that has like really, really good bombard cannons, and they mix halberdier with the bombard cannons, you can't really kill them with hussar or anything like that. Or if you do, it's going to be not very cost efficient. But Woad Raiders, and also Ethiopians, Woad Raiders and the Ethiopian unique unit Showtells are actually quite good at picking off Hufnitsa / bombard cannons / siege onagers, which surprisingly you don't really think about that much until you play the civ. Woad's very strong. Celts, obviously, their siege very strong, and just really, really good civ and post-it. Saracens. A lot of people with Saracens, they don't think about their siege, but Saracens has amazing siege, and of course, not only the siege, but they have really, really good composition with Mamelukes and Hussar, and then maybe if you need it, you can. I was about to say mix in some Arbalest, but honestly, who you kid? You could start Arbalest early game, but with Saracens, you just mix in some siege onagers and you're good to go with that extra. I think they get the extra damage, which is like for Mongols, fast siege most important. Teutons, more defense is important. Celts, more HP. Saracens probably has the worst upgrade for better siege, but overall, I would say they're overall a lot stronger than a civ like Ethiopians or Koreans that have slightly better civ bonuses for the siege. Bengalis. I mentioned the Bengalis earlier, but even more so in free-for-all. You start off booming with some monks, and then you, at least from my experience, Bengalis massing up ballista elephants, massing up elephant archers, and then all you need to do is just have light cap with them. And if you have infinite gold, you can do elite battle elephants, but they're elephant archers combined with the unique tech that makes not only elephant archers, but all elephant units attack 20% faster is insane. Not only that, their villagers take 10% less population space. Your trade units give you food in addition to gold. It's just, and then they have, of course, other good bonuses, but it's just such a strong civ and free-for-all. It's so hard to beat elephant archers. And then, of course, the siege elephant. The only reason why they're not number one, in my opinion, is because Mongols, all the civs above them, and even a couple of civs underneath them, can technically beat them with mass siege onager. But, of course, Bengalis can still beat it by just sniping it with just a plethora of light cav. Italians, people might disagree with me on this one. I just really personally think if you're playing defensively, you just stonewall, bombard cannon, bombard tower, genbow it up, and that is just a death comp that is so hard to destroy. Only tip I'd say is you're really going to need a lot of bombard cannons because the siege onagers from your opponent can just destroy your genbows. But those genbows will not let any sort of cavalry ever touch your bombard cannons as long as you're in a good position. So yeah, Italians, you can really win with a wonder quite easily as long as you're good at your Diplo. And then Koreans, kind of talked about them earlier, just a really strong civ, really good siege. And then Bohemians, I mean, I don't even explain Bohemians. They're just, they have the unit that is stronger than any other unit in the entire game in post-temp. Besides maybe Mongol drill siege ram slash siege onager. Dravidians, similar to the Bengalis, they just have that amazing elephant archer comp. And then of course, I didn't really mention this until now, but on water, Bengalis and Dravidians are also quite strong because they have really good water. Dravidians have the unique unit on water, so if you're playing a map like dingoes, like pilgrims, like, you know, just any map where water, where you're going to be trading on water, or water is very important, you know, it'd be really nice to have Dravidians, Bengalis, Italians, Portuguese, civs like that. Slavs, really good unique unit, really good siege, great trash. I mean, just Slavs, great civ. And then Ethiopians, I mean, they're really strong. They have really good siege, but I found myself, whenever I play Ethiopians, I just lose to like these other civs. Funny enough, like even Slavs, well, maybe not Slavs, but like all these Slavs, and then they're just they would be higher, but just on a map with water, they don't get fast fires, they don't get heavy demo, so that's the main knock on them. But if it's a strictly only land map, Ethiopians are actually, in my opinion, better than Slavs, Dravidians, Bohemians, Koreans, and maybe even Italians. But free for all, you're not only going to be on land, sometimes you're going to be on water. Persians as well. This is the first civ on this list. Let's double check their siege, but they definitely have the worst siege on the list so far. But they have an amazing boom, and on top of that, okay, they do get siege ram and bomber cannon. They're just missing siege onager and siege engineers, which is pretty bad, and fortified wall. But the thing about Persians is they get this one unit called the War Elephant. So if you know what you're doing with Persians, they get the War Elephant, they get crossbows that don't cost gold, which, I mean, I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty good. And yeah, just the War Elephant combined with really good, you know, paladin, well, not even paladin, just hussar, and in case your opponent's going monks. And then, of course, the crossbows to pick off monks. Just the War Elephant could just take over games, especially if it's King of the Hill. I've seen it done a couple times here and there. And then Lithuanians, they can be a little bit stronger if you get some relics with their Lightus and their Paladin. And then, of course, their siege is also... Oops. Their siege is also not the greatest. But they are quite solid all around. They have a really good monk tree, you know, everything, all the above. Just their town centers giving you food. What is it? Spearman line and skirmishers +2 armor. And it's not really the best. But they're just, I mean, they just have a really big power spike. And that's gonna be it. So, and then one extra little thing at the end. As I said on Free For All, I asked some of my friends what their favorite civs are. The Otter one, Emu Warrior, T-Bomber, and then, let me check one more time. Smokey, I gave him 24 hours and tagged him. He did respond. Let's see what his civs are. Difficult question. He said Mongols, Persians, Saracen, Portuguese, and Bohemians. So I'm actually going to add Persians onto this list, actually. Because T-Bomber also said Persians. I wanted to add on here any civ that my buddy said that any of my friends agreed on. So let me check real quick. So I just read out what Smokey said. T-Bomber said Mongols, Persians, Bengalis, Portuguese, Bohemians, and then Emu said Teutons, Mongols, Celts, Portuguese, and Dravidians. So yeah, Mongols, everybody said. So there's that number one. Portuguese, of course. And one thing about Portuguese is it's very noob friendly. So if you're like 900, 1000 elo, in that kind of, like, even like 800 to like 1000 elo, you can win a game as Portuguese just because you have the Feitoria. And if trade runs out, people spend their money. And sometimes it's not just trade and gold. Sometimes it's wood. I've seen that on many occasions where the game goes super long and people run out of wood, where wood becomes like 500 gold for like 100 wood. And then all of a sudden, Portuguese is getting all this wood for free. And they win because of that. Bohemians, it's all about the Hoofnitsa, obviously. And that's why, I mean, Bohemians is a fine civ, but the Hoofnitsa, in my opinion, are my least favorite unit in the entire game. But it is what it is. It's in the game, you gotta play around it. And then Persians, War Elephant. But yeah, sorry, that took a little bit longer, 30 minutes. A little bit longer than I was expecting. And I kind of went through Nomad pretty quickly, but, you know. Nomad's pretty self-explanatory. Decent water, good early eco bonus, and good unique unit. That's really all that matters on Nomad. But thanks for watching, and I hope this was of interest. And also, if you can, please tell me what your favorite civs are. I'm most curious about people who play free-for-all, but if you have any opinions on my list, Arabia, it's mainly because I'm an archer player at heart, because I've only been playing the game for 2.5 years, and I come from StarCraft, so I can really micro archers like crazy. But my eco is pretty mid, so this is mostly like an archer list with like Franks and Magyars. But yeah, let me know. And thank you so much for watching. You have a good one.